your full tuition is paid off in
Yeah.
medical school. Grant me, there's obviously other parts of it, but
Yeah.
that's a huge chunk.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
got a scholarship, right?
Yeah,
So explain
yeah.
that first
Yeah.
of all.
So in the process of applying to medical schools, cost was definitely a big factor in me trying to decide where I wanted to go. And in the end, I was deciding between Duke and Vanderbilt and the Medical College of Georgia. And I really wanted to go to Duke. And I think like financially, Duke was making more sense in terms of how much they were willing to give. And I spoke with the admissions director because he was kind of calling students to see like how they were feeling about the process and like if they had needed any help making a decision. And I told him like my dilemma and that, you know, cost is like a really big factor. And then they had already given me a lot of financial aid, and I think I was going to have to take out like $15,000 or so a year. And then after that conversation, I got an updated financial aid package from them, and they covered all of my cost of attendance except for like $2,500, which I got covered by a different scholarship. So yeah, when I got that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Duke. Yeah. So yeah, it ended up being like the cheapest option for me, and just like where I really wanted to end up going to. So yeah, I feel like really blessed, and like I did not expect that to happen at all. And I also had like a full scholarship for undergrad too, so it's just like a blessing for me and like my family. And I think just, you know, the fact that I don't have to be in debt and to pursue this career, because I know that's something that like steers a lot of people away from it, and rightfully so, because it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So yeah, I feel very lucky and excited about that. And yeah.
It's amazing. It's such a big part, right?
Yeah.
That is a rare opportunity. So how did you get the scholarship? Like what was, let's talk about the med school one, and then we'll talk about the undergrad one.
Yeah.
Was there applications to it?
Yeah. So for the like scholarship from Duke, they offer some like need-based scholarships. So different schools have different approaches to it. And usually they'll offer like need-based scholarships based on like FAFSA and things like that. And then sometimes they'll have like different merit-based scholarships. So Duke had like a separate scholarship for students from Georgia. They have like different donors who have like different criteria for people who get scholarships. So I got like a mix of scholarships from Duke, and I didn't have to apply for those separately. I just like submitted my financial aid information, and then, you know, talking to them about cost being a barrier helped with that too. And then the $2,500 a year scholarship, actually it's $5,000 a year, is the Ty Cobb Scholarship Foundation. Okay. And they offer scholarships. It's what's the word, like repeat it, like you can reapply for it every year, like resubmit a short application, and they'll just like give you the scholarship multiple years in a row. But it's for, I didn't know about it like until shortly before I was applying, but it's for like any students who are residents of Georgia who are applying to like, I think medical school of any kind, dental school, like any sort of school. Yeah. And it's $5,000 a year, I believe. And yeah, so I submitted an application for that one and got that one too, and that just like covered the rest of it. So yeah, that's one I definitely like tell a lot of like people about all the time, because that one does have a separate application. But yeah.
Were there any criterias for that scholarship, or even the one that you got for like a financial aid package from Duke?
Yeah, I think it was based on like how much, the Duke one was based on like financial need, or like how much your family made, and you know, like if you would be able to afford like medical school, and like how much you would be able to afford essentially. But the Ty Cobb scholarship, I believe the main criteria was that you're a resident of Georgia, and then you have to submit, I think you have to submit like a letter of recommendation,
Okay.
and like every year you have to submit one when you're reapplying. But I have to look into it again, but I
Right.
think the criteria wasn't much. It was just being a Georgia resident. So
Which is something interesting, right? Because like, yes, medical school is expensive if anybody hasn't already found that out. But there's so many resources out there. It's just trying to find the right ones to get to apply to you. And from I've learned from you and some other people that there's like there's many scholarships out there. But it's really just it's in your benefit. Really, like if you are, I'm not saying poor, but if you're like in a poverty situation where you're below the income household, it works in your favor.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. Over long run, that doesn't mean all of a sudden that you're rich or whatever.
Right.
But it definitely helps
for sure.
And when I saw that from your perspective, I thought there's got to be more to this story. And so how did you find this information? Did you just go out there and start Googling?
Honestly, I looked up like scholarships for medical students or people applying to medical school, and usually like I literally looked it up on Google, and I think that's how I found that one. I think also at like an information session for Medical College of Georgia, they talked about it too, but I think by then the application had already been due or something like that. But and or possibly from another resource is the pre-med office. I think I remember the pre-med office at Georgia State mentioning this scholarship too, now that you mention it. And so definitely like reaching out to your pre-med office about like what scholarships do you know about, because they typically will know about things that you might not be able to find online. So and then for Duke, I think I just kind of like talked to people and kind of knew from current students at Duke that Duke was the type of place that like, would do everything that they could to like get students to be able to financially afford, or for finances to not be a barrier for them coming. So they I just heard that they did the best that they could, and so definitely went down that route too.
And Georgia State in general is a great place because it is in the metro Atlanta area. So they understand that a lot of people coming here are financially not dependent, really. That's what it is, which is great, right? Because it does give you an opportunity to figure out what you want to do.
Exactly.
Some schools just don't have the resources out there, but if you start looking at which schools have that, it's a really good way to go.
Definitely.
And so you said for undergrad too, you said you also got scholarships for that. So how did that go?
So the scholarship that I got through my undergrad was a presidential scholarship, and so that was like a Georgia State specific scholarship, and I think they have another one now. I can't remember the name of it, but they still have the presidential scholarship. But during high school, when I was applying to college, I did a similar thing, like looked up scholarships online, and then like for each school I was applying to, like looked up scholarship applications for the schools specifically. And so Georgia State had the presidential scholarship, and I remember my mom was like, you really should apply for this. Like, this could be really great. And she like definitely encouraged me to do it. And I was like, what are the odds that I actually get this? Like, I don't know. There's only like a certain number of people each year. But I ended up getting awarded the presidential scholarship. You had to do like interviews and stuff, but and submit essays. But definitely like during senior year, or as early as possible, like looking up scholarships on like the school's website specifically, because I think the deadline was like kind of like earlier than I anticipated. So just like making sure you have enough time to submit those things, important.
That's a good way to go, honestly. Like your undergrad was a good set.
It was
I wish
great.
you told me that.
Sorry. I didn't know.
I'm stuck here. No, that's great to hear. I think a lot of audience members can benefit from that. These days it's a struggle to get out there. It really is.
It is.
Especially for medical school. It's not easy. There's a lot of
not.
times where students are just held back against a wall. And they feel like they're trapped.
Exactly.
Especially when you don't have like parents who tell you what to do.
Right.
You're an example of exactly how to do it. Go Google.
Google is very useful sometimes.
It is. No joke.